Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Talks. Have you ever been around someone you care about and felt like something was off? Like no matter what you do, they just don't seem to connect with you the way you want or they used to? Everything might seem fine on the surface, but deep down, you can sense the distance growing, and it leaves you with a heavy heart. What if I told you that those feelings could be right? What if there are subtle signs that they're hiding their dislike, and you just haven't seen them clearly yet? In today's video, we're going to go through 9 signs that someone dislikes you and is hiding it. I know this can be hard to hear, especially if your heart is already feeling heavy, but these signs, though subtle, hold the truth. And with each one, we'll guide you not just on how to recognize them, but how to respond in a way that could shift the dynamic and reignite the love you're hoping for. Whether they like you or not isn't something you can control, but what is within your power is how you react. When you remain calm and composed, even in the face of disappointment, it forces them to rethink their actions, making them see you in a whole new light. This quiet strength can turn their hidden dislike into a deep respect, and maybe even rekindle the feelings you want. By mastering your own reactions, you create a powerful presence that they can't help but notice. Let's start with a quote that really hits home. You cannot control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. This speaks directly to today's topic, reminding us that our strength lies in how we handle these moments, not in trying to change someone else's mind. This video isn't about chasing after someone's approval or forcing them to feel differently. It's about using Stoic wisdom to keep your dignity intact while navigating the uncertainty of relationships with grace. Whether you're trying to win over someone new or hold on to a partner who feels distant, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot these signs and, more importantly, how to handle them in a way that leaves you feeling empowered. But before we dive in, here's today's affirmation. Repeat after me, I stand strong. And don't just stop there. Go ahead and declare it in the comments. Whatever they might be thinking, you have to stand strong. Desperation won't help, and it only pushes them further away. So, stand firm in your power. And when you feel these signs creeping in, remind yourself, I stand strong. Drop it in the comments to let them know you're unshaken and in control. Now, let's dive in and uncover these 9 signs. Question together. Number 1, their jokes start to sting. So, folks, the first thing that tells you whether they dislike you or not is how they joke about you. Now, you're trying to build a great relationship with them, maybe trying to attract them, or even get them to see your true worth. But what they might be doing instead is constantly making jokes at your expense, poking fun at your quirks, your little mistakes, or things they know might get under your skin. It seems playful, but underneath, it's more than just humor. But how do you find out if it's a playful joke or if it's a result of their hidden dislike? Let's break it down. At first, these comments might come off as harmless. They'll joke about how you say something or how you dress, and they'll cover it up with, I'm just messing with you. But as time goes on, those jokes become a pattern. They're no longer lighthearted. They're focused on your weaknesses, your insecurities. They never joke about your strengths, only about things that might make you second-guess yourself. And that's when you know this isn't just humor anymore. It's a subtle way for them to test how much you'll tolerate, to see if they can get away with putting you down while pretending it's all in good fun. Now, if you've noticed this sign in your relationship, don't break apart. Don't let it make you feel small or doubt yourself. Instead, keep your affirmation close. I stand strong. This is where Stoicism comes into play. Embrace it. You can't control what they say or how they act, but you can control how you respond. When someone tries to belittle you through jokes, stay calm and composed. Don't react emotionally. Instead, pause and ask yourself, is this really about me, or is this about them? Often, people who joke about others' flaws do it because of their own insecurities. They might feel threatened by your confidence, your growth, or even by how others admire you. By joking about your imperfections, they're trying to bring you down to their level. But here's the truth. They only succeed if you let them. So, instead of reacting with hurt or anger, respond with calm strength. For example, if you're in the early stages of attracting someone and they keep making jokes about something personal, like your job or the way you talk, don't let it rattle you. You can simply say, I'm actually really proud of that. This shows them that you're not fazed by their comments, and they can't control how you feel about yourself. You've just flipped the power dynamic, and they'll take notice. The same applies if you're already in a relationship. If your partner starts joking about your appearance or the way you handle things, it's time to set boundaries. Calmly let them know, I'm okay with jokes, but this feels like it's crossing a line. You don't need to make a scene. Your steady response is enough to make them realize they can't shake your confidence. And what about friendships, or even colleagues? Sometimes the people closest to us use humor to hide their true feelings. Maybe a friend keeps making digs about your ambitions, or a colleague always makes you the butt of the joke in meetings. In those moments, instead of laughing along just to keep the peace, ask yourself, is this how I want to be treated? If not, don't hesitate to speak up. You can say something like, I get the joke, but it's starting to feel like there's more behind it. This simple statement calls them out without creating conflict, and it makes them rethink how they're treating you. The beauty of Stoicism is that it teaches us not to be reactive. You don't need to match their energy or get pulled into their negativity. Instead, by staying calm and composed, you show them that their words don't define you. You rise above the noise, and in doing so, you force them to see you differently. You stop being the easy target, and they start realizing that they can't bring you down with a few careless words. As you continue navigating these situations, remember to hold on to today's affirmation. I stand strong. Every time you feel those jokes cutting deeper, say it to yourself. Let it remind you that you are in control of how you react, and no one has the power to make you feel small unless you give it to them. So, don't break apart when the jokes start to sting. Stand strong, set your boundaries, and stay calm. By doing this, you not only protect your self-respect, but you also force them to reconsider how they've been treating you. They'll start to see your strength, and that's when their view of you will shift. Stay tight, because the journey has just begun. Next, we're going to discuss another telltale sign. When they're suddenly too busy for you. Believe me, you don't want to miss this one, because it's about to reveal even more than you think. Let's keep going. But before we proceed further, if you have any questions or perhaps a personal experience to share, please drop it in the comments. You might just help someone else who's going through a similar situation. And if everything is crystal clear, this video really deserves a like. So go ahead, hit that like button below, and let us know that you truly appreciate content like this. Your support means a lot. Number 2, too busy only when it comes to you. So folks, here's another big sign that someone might not be as invested in you as they claim to be. They're always too busy, but only when it comes to you. Now, You're trying to build a relationship with them, whether it's romantic, a friendship, or even a professional connection. You're putting in the effort, hoping they'll see your worth. But every time you reach out to spend time or connect, there's always an excuse. I've just got so much going on, or I'll let you know when things calm down. Yet, you notice they're not too busy for everyone else. So how do you know if this is just bad timing or a sign they're pulling away? Here's the harsh truth. People make time for what and who they care about. If they're constantly unavailable only when it comes to you, it's not about being too busy. It's about their priorities. They're choosing to be busy with everyone else while keeping you at arm's length. And that can be painful, especially when you're trying to get closer to them, to show them your value. Let's break it down. Maybe you've noticed they have time for their friends, their other obligations, even to go out and have fun. But when you suggest plans, suddenly their schedule is packed. It happens in romantic relationships too. Perhaps the person you're seeing is all in at first, but then, out of nowhere, they're always too busy to meet up, call, or even text. What's really going on? It's a slow fade, a way of saying they don't want to spend as much time with you without having to say it out loud. This also happens with friends or even colleagues. Have you ever had a friend who seemed to always be free for others, but never for you? Or a colleague who can make time for other work projects, but always pushes your requests to the side? It's the same pattern. They're making a choice, and unfortunately, that choice isn't you. But before you let that sting turn into self-doubt, remember, this isn't about you or your worth. People's actions are a reflection of their priorities, not your value. This is where Stoicism comes in. You can't control how someone else chooses to spend their time, but you can control how you respond to it. Instead of feeling rejected, take a step back and ask yourself, do I want to invest in someone who's not making time for me? Here's where you stand strong. When you notice someone is always too busy for you, don't chase them or try harder to get their attention. The more you try to force it, the more it reinforces their behavior. Instead, maintain your calm. Don't let their excuses shake your confidence. Just like we talked about earlier, it's not about how they treat you, it's about how you handle it. Responding with dignity shows them that their behavior doesn't affect your self-worth. It also signals that you value your own time and won't beg for someone else's. Let's put it into perspective. Say you're trying to attract someone new, and they keep giving you the "I'm busy" line. You might feel tempted to push harder to find ways to fit into their schedule. But what if instead you stepped back? Don't chase after someone who doesn't prioritize you. Shift your energy toward yourself. Let them see that you're not sitting around waiting for their scraps of attention. You're busy too, but you're busy with your growth, your goals, and the people who truly value you. The same goes for relationships. If you're already involved with someone and they suddenly seem too busy for you, don't spiral into overthinking. Yes, it hurts, but you don't need to chase after their time. Calmly express how you feel once, and if they don't make an effort to change, let your actions speak louder than words. Focus on your own life and interests, and they'll either step up or fade away. Either way, you win because you're standing firm in your own value. Now, in friendships or work relationships, it's the same idea. If someone is too busy to invest in you, but can always make time for others, stop trying to chase after their approval. You have every right to expect the same effort from them as they do from you. When you calmly step back and focus on those who do appreciate your time, they'll either realize their mistake or show their true colors, and that clarity is a win for you. Throughout all of this, Hold on to today's affirmation. I stand strong. Say it whenever you start to feel like someone's behavior is pulling you down. Remind yourself that their lack of time for you doesn't define your worth. You have the power to stand tall and focus on what matters to you. The right people will make time for you, and those who don't simply don't deserve your energy. So don't let their busy schedule make you feel small. Stand strong, value your own time, and watch how the dynamic shifts. People are drawn to those who respect themselves. When you stop chasing after someone's time and attention, they often start wondering what they're missing out on. So, this was the second sign. And folks, if this video is truly helping you out, please drop a "keep it up" in the comments. This really helps increase its reach on YouTube and allows more people like you to find the help they're looking for, all at no cost to you. And please stay with me because the journey is just beginning. Next, we're going to tackle another major sign, when they start canceling plans with you frequently. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Number 3, they cancel plans frequently. So folks, the next big sign that someone might not be as into you as you'd hope is when they start canceling plans frequently. You're trying to build something meaningful with them, whether you're hoping to attract them, maintain a relationship, or strengthen a friendship. But no matter how many plans you make, they're always finding a way to back out. Something came up. I'm too tired. Can we reschedule? It happens over and over again, and after a while, it leaves you questioning. Is this just bad luck, or are they making excuses? When someone repeatedly cancels plans with you, it's a pretty clear sign that spending time with you isn't a priority for them. Sure, life happens. We all have moments when we genuinely need to cancel, but when it becomes a pattern, when every plan seems to fall apart last minute, that's when you need to stop and think. Is this about their schedule, or are they trying to distance themselves from me? Now, I get it. This can be tough, especially if you're trying to attract someone new. You might feel excited every time they agree to make plans, only to be disappointed when they cancel last minute. You're left wondering if maybe you're asking for too much, or worse, if you did something wrong. But here's the truth. People will make time for what they value. If they're consistently canceling on you, it's likely they don't see you as a priority. And that hurts, but it's better to recognize it than to keep hoping they'll change. In relationships, this can be especially painful. You're already with someone, and suddenly they start canceling plans you've been looking forward to. At first, you might make excuses for them. They're just busy, they've had a tough week, maybe next time will be different. But as it keeps happening, you begin to feel like an afterthought, and that feeling of being pushed aside can eat away at your confidence and make you question your own value. Even in friendships or with colleagues, frequent canceled plans can send a clear message. A friend who constantly cancels might not be as invested in the relationship as you are. A coworker who always backs out of meetings or projects might not value your collaboration. In any case, it's important to take a step back and ask yourself, am I giving my energy to someone who isn't giving me theirs in return? But here's where Stoicism comes in to help you rise above. Instead of letting their canceled plans make you feel less than, shift your mindset. As a Stoic, you understand that you can't control their actions, only your response. When someone cancels on you repeatedly, it's not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their priorities. So how do you handle it? First, don't react emotionally. The next time they cancel on you, stay calm. Don't plead for their time or ask them to make it up to you. Simply accept it and move on. This sends a powerful message that you're not dependent on their time or attention. You have your own life, your own plans, and you're not going to wait around for someone who isn't willing to commit. For example, if you're trying to attract someone and they cancel on you again, don't rush to reschedule. Instead, take a step back. Let them be the one to reach out and set the next plan. If they don't, that's a clear sign of where they stand. And if they do, they'll know that you're not sitting around waiting for them. You're showing them that you value your time and that they'll have to make an effort if they want to spend it with you. In a relationship, it's important to address the issue directly but calmly. Let them know that you've noticed the pattern of canceled plans and how it's making you feel. You don't need to accuse or blame. Just express your feelings and see how they respond. If they truly value the relationship, they'll make an effort to change. If not, then you've learned something valuable about where you stand. In friendships and professional relationships, the same principle applies. If someone consistently cancels, don't chase after them to reschedule. Let them be the one to make the next move. And if they don't, well, then it's time to focus your energy on those who value your time and effort. Through all of this, hold on to today's affirmation: I stand strong. Every time you feel the disappointment of another canceled plan, remind yourself that you deserve to be around people who respect your time. You don't need to beg for someone's attention or rearrange your life to fit into theirs. You stand strong in your own worth, and you'll attract people who see that. So don't let canceled plans knock you down. Stand tall, keep your dignity intact, and remember that their behavior is a reflection of them, not you. Stay tight, because next, we're going to dive into another revealing sign: when they start avoiding physical contact. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. Number 4, avoiding physical contact. They start avoiding physical contact with you. So folks, let's talk about another clear sign that someone may be pulling away or isn't as invested in you as they once were. They start avoiding physical contact. Whether you're trying to attract someone new, you're already in a relationship, or even with a friend, physical contact plays a huge role in how we connect with others. It's more than just touch. It's about closeness, trust, and comfort. So when someone starts avoiding it, that's when things get concerning. At first, you might not even notice. Maybe they don't hug you as often, or they pull away when you try to hold their hand. They might start avoiding even the most casual forms of touch, like a pat on the back or sitting close to you. And that's when you start to feel it. It's subtle but powerful. It leaves you wondering if you're overthinking or if something's truly changed. Now, physical contact is essential in relationships, romantic or not. It's a way of showing affection, trust, and intimacy. When someone suddenly avoids it, it's often a sign that they're distancing themselves emotionally too. Maybe they're no longer comfortable around you, or they're trying to create space without openly saying it. In a romantic relationship, this can be particularly painful. If they used to be warm and close, always holding your hand, cuddling, or even giving you a reassuring touch, and suddenly that stops, it can feel like a wall is being built between you. And it leaves you wondering, what changed? Is it something you did, or is it something they're feeling that they're not telling you? The same can happen with friends or colleagues. Physical contact isn't always romantic. It can be as simple as a friendly hug or a handshake. When someone starts avoiding that, it's often a sign that they're uncomfortable or pulling away for reasons they may not want to express verbally. But here's where Stoicism comes into play. The first thing you need to remember is that you can't control how they feel or what they do. You can only control your own actions and responses. So when someone starts avoiding physical contact, don't jump to conclusions or let it make you feel less than. Instead, stay calm and composed. It's not about you. It's about what's going on with them. You have two options. You can address it calmly, ask if something's changed, and open the door to an honest conversation. Or you can step back and let them come to you when they're ready. Either way, don't push for physical contact. Let them feel the distance they've created. When you show that you're not desperate for their touch, it puts the power back in your hands. Repeat today's affirmation, I stand strong. Drop it in the comments if you haven't already, and let them find out that you're not easily swayed. And folks, remember that if they're pulling away, that doesn't change your worth. You don't need to chase after their affection or touch. Stand strong. Respect the space they're creating, and if they value you, they'll come back. If not, you're better off knowing where you truly stand. Stay tight, my friends. Next, we're going to talk about what happens when conversations become forced. Believe me, you don't want to miss it. It's a sign that reveals even more than you might think. Number 5. Conversations become forced. So, folks, let's dive into another clear sign that someone might be losing interest or harboring hidden dislike. When conversations start to feel forced, whether you're trying to attract someone new, maintain a relationship, or even just connect with a friend or colleague, conversations are key. They're how we bond, share, and understand one another. But when the flow of conversation starts to dry up, and every word feels like pulling teeth, that's a sign something's off. You've probably felt it before, those moments where the energy between you feels heavy, and no matter what you say, it seems to fall flat. Maybe you're asking questions, trying to engage, but their responses are short, disinterested, or even dismissive. Where once there was laughter, deep conversations, or excitement, now there's awkward silence, or they seem distracted, always looking for an exit. In a romantic situation, this can be incredibly disheartening. You might remember a time when your conversations flowed naturally, when you couldn't wait to talk to each other. Now, every conversation feels like work, like you're the only one trying to keep things going. You ask them about their day, and you get one-word answers. You share something personal, and they barely respond. It feels like the connection is slipping through your fingers, and that's a tough place to be. In friendships or professional relationships, forced conversations can also be a red flag. With a friend, it might feel like you're the only one keeping the conversation alive. They don't ask about your life, and when they do, it feels more out of obligation than genuine interest. With colleagues, they might avoid chatting altogether, sticking strictly to business with no room for connection. But here's the thing. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control how someone else engages with us, but we can control how we respond. Instead of letting forced conversations make you feel unworthy or rejected, take a step back and assess the situation. Ask yourself, is this a temporary phase, or is this how they're consistently acting now? If it's a one-off thing, maybe they're having a tough day. But if it's becoming a pattern, it's time to shift your approach. Don't keep pushing for a deeper conversation if it's clear they're not interested. Trying harder to make the conversation flow will only leave you feeling more frustrated and them even more disengaged. Instead, allow the conversation to breathe. Let there be silence if it needs to be. Sometimes, when we stop trying to fill the gaps, the other person realizes their own absence and steps up. In a relationship, if conversations are starting to feel forced, bring it up calmly. Let them know you've noticed the change, but don't accuse or blame. Simply express your feelings and give them space to respond. If they care, they'll recognize the problem and work with you to fix it. If not, their continued disinterest is a sign that something deeper may be going on. In friendships or with colleagues, if the conversation feels forced, take a step back. You don't need to chase after their attention or keep things going when the effort isn't mutual. Let the conversation flow naturally, or let it rest altogether. If they want to engage with you, they will. Remember today's affirmation: I stand strong. Conversations may feel forced, but that doesn't mean you need to force yourself to keep trying. Stand strong in knowing your worth doesn't depend on their engagement. If they can't hold a genuine conversation with you, they're showing you where you stand in their priorities, and that's valuable information to have. Stay tight, because we're not done yet. Next up, we're going to explore what happens when they don't offer support when you need it most. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Number 6, they don't offer support. So folks, let's talk about another major red flag when someone doesn't offer support, especially when you need it the most. Whether you're trying to attract someone new, maintain a relationship, or even strengthen a friendship, support is one of the most crucial elements. It's about being there for each other, whether times are good or bad. Together, we can create a community that uplifts one another. Thank you for being here today, and remember, your worth is not defined by anyone else. Keep standing strong, and I'll see you in the next video.